Imagine working your entire life, waiting patiently for the day you can finally say, I made it. I'm retired. For decades, Americans have carried that magic number in their heads 67. That was the finish line, the age when Social Security would finally give back what you've been paying into your whole career. But what if I told you that finish line is moving again? What if the rules about when you can collect your benefits are changing and those changes affect millions of seniors, not just tomorrow, but right now? This isn't just about numbers on a chart or some technical government adjustment. This is about your future, your parents' future, and the stability of the most important retirement program in American history. In this video, we're going to break down exactly what's changing with Social Security's retirement age, why it's happening, how it could affect you, and what it means for the generations coming after us. So grab a cup of coffee, sit back, and let's talk about why Goodbye 67 is not just a headline, it's a turning point that may redefine retirement in America forever. To understand why this change matters so much, we have to take a step back and remember what Social Security was meant to be. Back in 1935, when President Franklin D. Roosevelt signed the Social Security Act into law, the promise was simple: no American who worked hard their whole life should have to live their final years in poverty. It was a safety net, a guarantee that once you were too old to work, you'd have something steady to rely on. For most of its history, the retirement age hovered around 65. That number became ingrained in the American dream, the golden age of retirement. You worked until 65, got your Social Security check, and hopefully lived out your remaining years with some dignity and financial peace. But over time, things changed. People started living longer. Healthcare improved. The cost of living soared. And by the 1980s, Congress realized that the system couldn't keep up with the original promises. That's when the retirement age began creeping up, eventually landing at 67 for full benefits. For baby boomers, Gen Zers, and millennials, that became the new finish line. Until now. Here's the headline: the government is officially revising the retirement age rules again. Goodbye 67 isn't just a catchy phrase, it's a reflection of a fundamental shift. Depending on your birth year, your full retirement age could be pushed even further. Some proposals and adjustments are aiming towards 68, 69, or even 70. This means if you were planning to retire at 67 and collect your full benefits, you may have to wait longer or face steeper reductions if you retire earlier. For millions of seniors who are already struggling with rising rent, medical costs, and grocery bills, this is no small adjustment. It's the kind of change that can completely alter retirement plans. But why now? Why move the goalposts again? Why the retirement age is moving? The uncomfortable truth is this: Social Security is running out of money, at least in its current form. The trust funds that back the program are projected to be depleted within the next decade if nothing changes. That doesn't mean Social Security disappears overnight, but it does mean the government won't be able to pay full benefits. Instead, they'd only be able to pay a percentage of what's promised, which could mean cuts across the board. Raising the retirement age is one way lawmakers are trying to keep the program afloat without immediately raising taxes or cutting benefits outright. By pushing the retirement age higher, fewer people qualify at once, and the system gets more breathing room. It's essentially the government asking Americans to work a little longer, to stretch the program further. But here's the catch: not everyone can work longer. That's where the human story really begins. On paper, raising the retirement age might make sense. People are living longer, right? But in reality, it's not that simple. Think about a construction worker who has spent decades hauling heavy equipment. Or a nurse who has worked long nights on her feet for 40 years. Or a factory worker whose back is giving out after years on the line. These aren't just numbers in a report, they're real people who physically cannot keep working until 68 or 70. Sure, office workers or people in less physically demanding jobs might manage. But for millions of blue-collar Americans, telling them to just work longer is not realistic. These are the very people Social Security was originally designed to protect, and now they're the ones at risk of falling through the cracks. If you're already retired and collecting benefits, you're safe for now. These changes mostly impact those who are still working and haven't hit retirement age yet. But here's the important part: even if you're close to retirement, these rules may affect how much you can collect, when you can start, and whether early retirement penalties become harsher. That means millions of Americans in their 50s and early 60s, people who are already planning their budgets, deciding when to leave work, and thinking about their health insurance, have to reevaluate everything. Retirement isn't just about money. It's about health, family, dignity, and quality of life. A change in the rules ripples through all of those areas. This shift isn't just about today's seniors. It's also about tomorrow's. Millennials and Gen Z, who already face higher student debt, housing costs, and uncertain job markets, are now being told their Social Security finish line might be decades further away. That changes the way younger generations think about retirement entirely. Instead of counting on Social Security as a backbone, they're being forced to save more on their own through 401(k)s, IRAs, or other investments. For many, that's easier said than done. With wages struggling to keep up with inflation, the idea of building enough savings without Social Security feels impossible. This creates a divide: those who can afford to plan ahead and those who simply cannot. And that divide is growing wider with each new policy change. Of course, this isn't just an economic issue, it's a political one. Lawmakers know that Social Security is often called the third rail of American politics. Touch it, and you get burned. No politician wants to be the one accused of taking away benefits from seniors. But the truth is unavoidable. Something has to change. Whether it's raising the retirement age, adjusting payroll taxes, or restructuring benefits, Social Security cannot stay exactly the way it is. The challenge is finding a balance between keeping the program solvent and protecting the people who depend on it most. The retirement age change is just one piece of that puzzle, but it's the piece that hits closest to home for millions of Americans. Let's step away from politics for a moment and talk about what retirement really means. It's not just a date on a calendar. Retirement is a dream, a reward, a chance to finally live life on your own terms. It's the fishing trips you've been putting off, the time with grandkids you've been craving, the hobbies you've never had time to explore. When the government pushes that dream further out of reach, it doesn't just affect your wallet. It affects your spirit. It's a reminder that for many Americans, the promise of retirement is slipping further away. That's why these changes feel so personal, so emotional. It's not just about working longer. It's about losing years of freedom you thought you'd earned. So where does this leave you? If you're approaching retirement, the best thing you can do is stay informed and start planning. That means understanding your Social Security statement, knowing the difference between early retirement, full retirement, and delayed benefits, and being realistic about your health and financial situation. It also means having tough conversations with your family. Retirement isn't just an individual choice, it affects spouses, children, and sometimes even grandchildren. Talking about what these changes mean now can prevent heartbreak later. And for younger generations, the message is clear: don't count on Social Security to cover everything. Start saving early, even if it feels impossible. Every little bit matters. The retirement age may keep moving, but your financial future doesn't have to be completely out of your control. Goodbye 67 isn't just about one number. It's about a shift in how America thinks about aging, work, and dignity. Social Security was built on a promise that after a lifetime of work, you'd be able to rest. Moving the retirement age challenges that promise, and for millions of seniors, it feels like the ground is shifting beneath their feet. But here's the truth: Social Security has survived wars, recessions, political battles, and decades of change. It will survive this too. The question is how, and at what cost? As we move forward, the voices of seniors, workers, and families need to be heard louder than ever. Because Social Security isn't just a policy. It's people. It's you. It's your parents. It's your neighbors. And it's the very foundation of what it means to retire in America. So the next time you hear goodbye 67, don't just think of it as a number. Think of it as a reminder that the fight for retirement security is far from over and every generation has a stake in what comes next. If this video helped you understand the changes to Social Security, make sure to hit that like button so more people can see it. Subscribe for more updates, because these changes are coming fast and you need to be prepared. And in the comments below, tell me, what does retirement mean to you? Is it a date on the calendar or is it a dream you're still chasing? Because at the end of the day, retirement isn't just about when you stop working. It's about how you live the years you've worked so hard for.